Have you ever felt like eyes are on you, even when you're alone? Have you ever walked into a room and felt the energy shift? The silent stares, the whispers that stop the moment you turn your head? This is not a coincidence. You, the chosen one, are under constant observation. But it's not just from people, it's from forces beyond what the eye can see. Your very existence carries weight. Your presence shakes atmospheres. And because of that, you are being monitored by those who admire you, those who envy you, and those who fear what you are becoming. At first, they ignored you. They dismissed your ambitions. They laughed at your struggles, called you crazy for believing in yourself, for dreaming bigger than your circumstances. But now, they can't ignore you anymore. Your glow is undeniable. Your resilience is unshakable. Every setback they thought would break you, you turned it into a stepping stone. Every betrayal, you transformed it into wisdom. You were supposed to give up, quit, disappear, but instead, you rose, and now, they're watching. Watching your every move, watching your next step. Some in awe, some in fear, because deep down, they know they misjudged you. There are people in your life, some close to you, some at a distance, who have been silently checking up on you. They don't support you openly, but they watch from the shadows. They scroll through your pages, listen to your words, analyze your progress, but never like, comment, or congratulate you. Why? Because they never expected you to make it this far. But it's not just the people you see. In the unseen realms, spiritual forces are at work. The enemy is watching too, because they know your breakthrough is near. They know your anointing is too powerful to be stopped. But here's the truth, they don't want you to realize this is just the beginning. Your best days are still ahead of you. So let them watch. Move wisely, stay alert, keep your spirit strong, because whether they like it or not, your time has come. If you feel this message in your soul, comment "I am chosen" below, and let's dive deeper into this truth together. There was a time when they dismissed you. They overlooked your potential, underestimated your strength, and assumed you would stay exactly where you were. They laughed when you struggled. They whispered behind your back, convinced that you would never make it. They found comfort in seeing you at your lowest, believing that as long as you remained down, their own shortcomings wouldn't feel so obvious. But something changed. You changed. The person they counted out, the one they ignored, the one they thought was broken beyond repair rose. Slowly, silently, and powerfully, you began to transform. At first, they didn't notice. They were too caught up in their own illusions to see what was happening. But as you started stepping into your power, the energy shifted. Now, the same people who once dismissed you can't stop watching. They don't clap when you succeed, but they never miss an update. They don't congratulate you, but they study your every move. They don't acknowledge your growth, yet somehow, they know every milestone you've reached. Why? Because deep down, they never truly believed you would make it this far. They assumed life would break you. They assumed you would give up. They assumed that the setbacks, betrayals, and disappointments would leave you stuck in a cycle of doubt, fear, and defeat. But instead, you rose from the ashes. You rebuilt yourself, stronger and wiser. You embraced your calling, even when the path was uncertain. And now, you shine so brightly that they can no longer pretend not to see you. They don't understand how you survived. They don't understand why, after everything, you refused to quit. They don't understand the force that carries you forward. But what they don't realize is that you were never walking this journey alone. You were never fighting these battles by yourself. The world tried to break you, but God was always with you, molding you into the warrior you were destined to be. Every struggle was a test of your endurance. Every trial was a lesson in resilience. Every moment of isolation was a divine recalibration, preparing you for what was to come. Now, the tables have turned. Those who once ignored you now observe you in silence. Some watch in admiration, others in confusion, and some with envy. They wonder how you are still standing. They wonder why, after everything you've faced, you are still walking forward with unshakable faith. They wonder how the person they wrote off is now walking in divine purpose. They won't admit it, but they see the glow that wasn't there before. They feel the presence that has become undeniable. They recognize the power they once ignored. And the truth is, they never expected you to make it because they didn't understand who you truly were. They only saw what they wanted to see: the struggles, the missteps, the challenges, but they failed to see what was within you all along. The strength, the vision, the purpose. Let them watch. Let them wonder. Let them witness firsthand what happens when a chosen one refuses to be stopped. Because this is only the beginning. Have you ever felt like someone was watching you, even when they weren't around? Like eyes were always on you, observing your every move, your every decision, your every step forward. It is not just your imagination. It is real. There are people who can't help but keep track of you. They may not speak to you. They may not acknowledge you. They may pretend you don't even exist. But in the quiet corners of their minds, you are always there. They scroll through your posts. They listen to what others say about you. They watch from a distance, waiting, wondering, analyzing. They do this because deep down, they know you carry something different, something powerful, something divine. Some watch you because they expected you to fail. They thought life would break you. They assumed that after everything you endured, you would give up. But you didn't. You kept going. You refused to be defeated. Your resilience confuses them because, in their eyes, you were not supposed to rise. They thought your story was over. Yet here you are, walking in strength, moving with purpose, glowing with a light they can't explain. Others watch because they are searching for cracks in your armor. They wait for any sign of struggle, any moment of weakness, any reason to say, "I knew it wouldn't last." They don't want to believe that you are truly free, that you have truly stepped into your power. Your success forces them to confront their own limitations, and that is a reality they are not ready to face. Then there are those who watch because they regret how they treated you. They see now what they failed to recognize before. They misjudged you. They dismissed you. They labeled you as ordinary when in reality, you were never meant to fit in. Now, as they watch you shine, as they see the doors opening for you, they are forced to admit that they were wrong. But here is the truth. None of this is about them. It never was. This is about your purpose. This is about your journey. This is about the divine calling on your life that was set before time began. Whether they accept it or not, whether they support you or not, whether they continue to watch from the shadows or not, none of it changes the truth. You were chosen. Your anointing is not dependent on their approval. Your destiny does not require their validation. The very people who ignored you, who spoke against you, who doubted your potential, are now watching because they see the undeniable truth. You were never meant to stay in the background. Every storm you survived, every battle you fought, every tear you cried, it was all leading to this moment. They can't stop watching because they are witnessing something supernatural, something unexplainable, something beyond human understanding. You have walked through the fire and come out refined. You have faced the storm and stood firm. You were being prepared for this. Now, as you step fully into your purpose, they will continue to watch. Some will admire, some will envy, some will wish they had stood beside you instead of against you. But the outcome has already been decided. You have already won. You may have felt it your entire life, the unshakable sense that eyes are always on you. Whether it was in school, at work, in public places, or even within your own family, There was always this lingering feeling that people were observing, analyzing, and trying to figure you out. Sometimes it made you uncomfortable. Other times it made you question yourself. But now, you are beginning to realize that this was never a coincidence. When you carry a divine calling, you cannot go unnoticed. There's something about you that shifts the atmosphere when you walk into a room. You do not have to say a word, yet your energy speaks volumes. People may not always know why, but they feel it. Some are drawn to it, while others feel uneasy in your presence. Some admire it and look to you for inspiration, while others watch from a distance, trying to decipher why you make them so uncomfortable. But the truth is, it is not you that unsettles them, it is the light within you. There are those who watch you because they see something in you that they need. They recognize the strength, the resilience, and the wisdom you carry. They may not say it out loud, but deep down, they admire the way you navigate life's challenges with grace and unwavering faith. They have seen you endure hardship and rise above struggles that would have broken most people. Your very existence proves to them that survival is possible, that transformation is real, and that faith can carry a person through even the darkest storms. But not everyone watching is watching with good intentions. Some are watching because they fear what you are becoming. They sense that you are on the verge of something great, and that terrifies them. They see the shifts happening in your life, the way God is elevating you, the way you are stepping into your power, and it makes them uneasy. These are the ones who never supported you. Yet suddenly, they seem to be interested in everything you do. They never encouraged you, yet now they are paying close attention to your every move. They are not watching out of admiration. They are watching out of anxiety. They see the anointing on your life, and they know that once you fully embrace who you are meant to be, nothing will be able to stop you. They know that the same person they once underestimated is now becoming unstoppable, and that realization shakes them to their core. But here is the truth that you must embrace. Being watched is not a curse. It is not something to fear. It is a confirmation that you are on the right path. It is a divine sign that your presence, your growth, and your transformation are causing shifts in the world around you. This is not the time to shrink yourself. This is not the time to dim your light just to make others more comfortable. This is the time to stand tall, to walk boldly in your purpose, and to let the world witness the power of what God is doing in your life. You were never meant to blend in. You were never meant to be overlooked. You were always meant to be a leader, a light in the darkness, a living testament to what faith and perseverance can do. Do not let the pressure of being watched make you question your worth. Do not let their opinions, their gossip, or their silent judgments make you second-guess your journey. They may never tell you to your face, but deep down, they know what is happening. They see the shifts in your life. They feel the power radiating from you. They recognize that something supernatural is taking place, something beyond logic, beyond reason, beyond what the world expected. And that miracle they are witnessing, that undeniable force of transformation and victory, is you. There comes a moment in every chosen one's journey when everything suddenly makes sense. All the battles, the silent struggles, the moments of isolation, the betrayals, and even the constant feeling of being watched, it was all leading to this. You were never just another person walking through life unnoticed. You were always set apart, always carrying something different, something rare, something powerful. And now, those who once doubted you are starting to realize it too. At first, they may have dismissed you. They labeled you as strange, too different, too intense. They overlooked your potential, believing you would never rise beyond what they assumed was possible for you. Some even laughed at your dreams, belittled your visions, and tried to discourage you from pursuing what was in your heart. They watched from a distance, waiting for you to give up, waiting for you to fail. But what they never saw coming was your resilience. They never anticipated that despite everything thrown at you, you would still rise. They did not expect you to keep moving forward, to keep believing, to keep standing firm in your faith. While they were watching, hoping for your downfall, something far greater was happening. God was elevating you in ways they could not comprehend. Now, the very people who doubted you are watching in silence, trying to figure out how you managed to break through. They see the transformation happening before their eyes, and it terrifies them. They wonder how you kept going despite the obstacles. They wonder why the things that should have destroyed you only made you stronger. They see that the same person they once overlooked is now walking with divine confidence, standing in a position of authority, and embracing a power they cannot explain. What they do not realize is that it was never about you alone. It was never just your strength, your intelligence, or your perseverance. It was always God working through you. It was always a divine plan unfolding, one that no enemy, no setback, and no amount of opposition could stop. Every challenge, every hardship, every painful experience was shaping you into the person you were always meant to be. And now, they cannot ignore it any longer. The evidence is too clear. The glow on your face, the peace in your spirit, the blessings unfolding in your life, it is undeniable. They see the favor surrounding you, the way doors are opening, the way opportunities are chasing you, and they are left speechless. They are realizing that you were never ordinary, never meant to be confined by their limited expectations. You were always chosen, always marked for greatness. Some will try to come back into your life, pretending they always believed in you. Some will try to take credit for your success, acting as if they knew all along that you would make it. Others will remain silent, watching from the shadows, too ashamed to admit they misjudged you. But no matter how they react, one truth remains the same. They see you now. They see what God has done, and they cannot deny it. This is your time to step fully into your destiny. This is the moment where you no longer need their approval, their validation, or their recognition. You were never doing this for them anyway. Your path has always been guided by something greater. And now, you are walking in the fullness of what was meant for you all along. Let them watch. Let them wonder. Let them question. Because at the end of the day, the truth is clear: you have already won. There is no more need to prove yourself. No more need to explain, to justify, or to seek validation from those who never truly understood your path. Everything you have endured, everything you have fought through, has led you to this moment. And now, the truth is undeniable: you have already won. The eyes that once overlooked you are now fixed on you with wonder and disbelief. The voices that once doubted you have fallen silent, realizing they misjudged you all along. The same people who dismissed you, underestimated you, and even worked against you are now forced to acknowledge that you were never ordinary. You were always chosen, but your victory was never about proving them wrong. It was never about seeking revenge or holding on to resentment. It was always about stepping fully into the purpose that was meant for you. It was always about trusting the divine plan, even when you could not see the way forward. And now, as the pieces come together, you understand why you had to go through everything you did. The hardships were never meant to break you, they were meant to prepare you. The delays were never meant to deny you, they were meant to refine you. So stand firm, keep walking in your purpose with your head held high. You do not need to look back. You do not need to explain your journey to those who never walked it with you. You are stepping into a season where God's favor is undeniable, where blessings will unfold before you effortlessly, and where no one can take away what has already been written for you. They are watching, yes, but they are not in control. They never were. You belong to something greater, something higher, something that no human being can stop or alter. And that is why you have already won. Stay ready, stay faithful, keep moving forward, because this is only the beginning. You may not see it yet, but listen carefully. You have already won. The battle you've been fighting, the struggle that's been weighing you down, the obstacles that tried to break you, it's over. The shift has already happened, and what was once out of reach is now making its way to you. Whatever you did, it worked. I know you've been through seasons of hardship, moments where you questioned if all your effort, faith, and resilience even mattered. You prayed, you sacrificed, you kept pushing forward even when nothing seemed to change. But the truth is, something changed long before you could see it. There was a shift in the spiritual realm, a divine alignment set in motion that is now bringing everything together for your breakthrough. The world may have doubted you. People may have walked away, underestimating your potential. But what they didn't realize is that you were always destined for something greater. The trials weren't meant to destroy you, they were meant to shape you. And now, the very things that once stood in your way are being removed. The doors that once seemed locked are opening, not because you begged, but because you were always meant to walk through them. This is your confirmation. God has already written your victory. It's no longer a question of if, but when, and that time is now. You don't have to strive anymore. You don't have to prove yourself to anyone. You have already won. So before we go any further, take a deep breath. Feel it. Let that truth settle into your spirit. Everything is aligning. Everything is working for you. Let's dive deeper into this, because what you're about to hear will change the way you see your journey. What if I told you that you already won before you even saw the results? What if I told you that the shift happened long before the evidence showed up? The problem is, most people don't recognize their victory when it arrives because they're still looking for proof in the physical world, while the real work, the breakthrough, happened in the unseen. Think about everything you've endured, the battles you fought in silence, the nights when you doubted your own strength, the sacrifices no one noticed. Those were the moments that truly shaped your destiny. But the world didn't see it. They misjudged you. They thought you were failing. They assumed your efforts were wasted. But what they didn't realize is that God was preparing something bigger than their limited minds could comprehend. Imagine a seed buried deep in the ground. It looks like nothing is happening. The surface is quiet, undisturbed. People walk past, seeing only dirt, unaware of the life growing beneath. But underground, the seed is breaking apart, transforming, preparing for the moment when it will burst through the soil into the light. That was you. The struggle wasn't a sign of defeat, it was a sign of transformation. The pain you endured wasn't for nothing, it was refining you. Every rejection, every delay, every moment of loneliness served a purpose. You weren't being buried, you were being planted. And now, the time has come for you to rise. Let's be real, there were moments when you almost gave up. When nothing seemed to move, when the weight of the journey felt unbearable, when you wondered if all your effort even mattered. But guess what? That was the test of your patience, the test of your resilience, the test of your belief in something greater than what you could see. And you passed. You stayed the course. You didn't allow discouragement to define you. You didn't let the opinions of others stop you. You refused to quit when it would have been easier to walk away. And because of that, you've already won. See, people think success happens in the moment of recognition. When the money comes in, when the opportunities finally open up, when the world starts clapping for you. But real success happens in the moments no one sees. It happens when you choose to keep going, even when you don't feel like it. It happens when you wake up and commit to your vision, even when there's no proof that it's working. And now, the results of that unseen work are about to become undeniable. The world is about to see what God has been building in you all along. The people who doubted you, they're about to witness the impossible. The doors that once rejected you, they're about to swing open effortlessly. The opportunities that felt out of reach, they were always meant for you, waiting for the right version of you to step into them. You were never waiting on the breakthrough. The breakthrough was waiting on you. So let this sink in. Whatever you did, it worked. Your prayers, your faith, your consistency, it wasn't in vain. You have already won. And now, it's just a matter of stepping into what has always been yours. Most people think victory happens when they can see it, touch it, and experience it in the physical world. But the truth is, every breakthrough starts in the spirit before it ever materializes in the physical. That's why so many people miss their moment. They're waiting for proof instead of recognizing the shift that has already taken place. Chosen one, the moment you decided to rise above your limitations. You already won. The moment you refused to stay stuck in fear, self-doubt, or insecurity, the chains broke. It didn't matter that you couldn't see it yet. The shift had already happened. The universe had already rearranged itself to accommodate your next level. Think back to the hardest moments of your journey. When nothing seemed to move, when doors kept closing, when it felt like you were walking through fire with no way out. Those moments weren't just obstacles, they were the testing grounds. The fire wasn't sent to destroy you, it was sent to refine you. Just like gold is purified by fire, your trials purified your purpose. They burned away everything that wasn't meant to go with you to the next level. The reason you felt so much resistance is because your elevation required it. The people who walked away, they weren't meant to go where you're going. The setbacks, they weren't punishments, they were redirections. The delays, they weren't denials, they were divine timing at work. But here's the thing, you kept going. When others gave up, you stayed in the fight. When others surrendered to doubt, you held on to your faith. When everything in your life told you to quit, something inside of you refused, and that's why you've already won. Victory was sealed the moment you chose faith over fear. There is a spiritual law that cannot be broken, as within, so without. Everything that happens in the physical world is just a reflection of what has already happened in the spiritual. The moment you shifted your mindset, the external world had no choice but to follow. The reason things seemed to fall apart at first is because the old reality couldn't sustain your new identity. Have you noticed how certain things stopped making sense? The conversations that once entertained you now feel empty. The people you once surrounded yourself with no longer align with your energy. The things that used to bring you comfort now feel foreign. That's because you've elevated beyond them. When you started aligning with your purpose, the universe started removing everything that was no longer meant for you. That's why certain relationships fell apart. That's why some doors closed so suddenly. That's why you were forced into isolation. Not because you were being punished, but because you were being prepared. You had to let go of distractions so you could focus. You had to lose certain relationships so you could find your true soul family. You had to experience setbacks so you could be redirected toward the right path. And now, everything you've lost is about to be replaced with something greater. Have you noticed the signs? A deep sense of inner peace, even when things don't seem perfect. The feeling that something powerful is about to happen, even if you can't explain it. Unexpected opportunities, ideas, or connections showing up seemingly out of nowhere. These are not coincidences. These are confirmations. The spirit world moved first, and now the physical world is catching up. The people who once overlooked you, they're suddenly paying attention. The opportunities that once seemed impossible, they're aligning effortlessly. The resources you thought you lacked, they're finding their way to you. Because when God says it's your time, nothing and no one can stop it. The breakthrough is already yours. Claim it. Chosen one, you are not waiting on your breakthrough is waiting on you to claim it. Whatever you did, it worked. Whatever you prayed for, it's already set in motion. This is not the time to doubt. This is not the time to question. This is the time to walk boldly into everything that is rightfully yours. You see, the enemy wanted you to believe you were losing. The distractions, the setbacks, the betrayals, it was all designed to make you doubt yourself. But what the enemy didn't realize is that every attack only made you stronger. Every challenge sharpened you. Every disappointment built your resilience. And now, you are unstoppable. You're no longer asking for permission to be great. You're no longer waiting for validation from those who never believed in you. You're no longer playing small to make others comfortable. Because the moment you chose faith over fear, the battle was over. The moment you chose to trust the unseen, the victory was sealed. And now, the results of that victory are about to unfold. Everything that was meant for you is making its way to you now. The financial breakthrough, the opportunities, the divine connections, it's already done. It was written before you were even born. The only thing left for you to do is walk in it. Chosen one, this is your confirmation. You've already won. Now, step into your victory. Chosen one, have you noticed how the energy around you is shifting? Have you felt that deep, unshakable knowing that something massive is about to happen? This isn't your imagination, this is spiritual alignment at work. Everything that once felt out of reach is now moving into place because you've finally stepped into alignment with your divine path. What is spiritual alignment? It's when your thoughts, actions, and beliefs are in complete harmony with your highest calling. It's when you stop fighting against the current and start flowing with divine timing. And when that happens, miracles unfold effortlessly. But here's the thing, the process of alignment is not easy. Before everything falls into place, everything must first fall apart. The relationships that no longer serve you will break away. The habits that kept you stagnant will be exposed. The illusions that once blinded you will be shattered. It might feel like chaos, but in reality, it's divine order. The old version of you is being stripped away to make room for the new. Think about the moments in your life when you experienced the most pain. The deepest betrayals, the hardest lessons. Were they not the very things that led you to this moment? If those things hadn't happened, would you have awakened to your true power? Would you have found the strength, the resilience, the wisdom that now defines you? The fire you walked through was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to forge you. Everything that left was making room for what's meant to stay. Some of you have experienced losses that felt unbearable. You lost friendships, relationships, opportunities, even versions of yourself that you thought you needed. But what if I told you that everything that left was only making room for what was meant to stay? The job you didn't get, it wasn't aligned with your true calling. The person who betrayed you, they weren't equipped to walk with you into your destiny. The path that was blocked, it was never meant to lead you to your highest potential. Nothing is ever taken from you without purpose. The people, places, and things that exit your life do so because they've served their role in your story. Your spirit called for more, and the universe responded. This is why you're no longer drawn to the things that once entertained you. This is why conversations that used to excite you now feel shallow. This is why the old version of you feels like a stranger, because you've outgrown them. You are elevating, and as you rise, so must everything around you. The discomfort you feel is not a sign that you are losing. It is a sign that you are becoming. You are becoming the person you were always meant to be. You are stepping into the reality that was written for you before time began. You are finally walking in the authority that was destined for you. This is why your manifestations are happening faster. This is why your intuition is sharper. This is why you feel an unshakable sense of purpose, even when you can't see the full picture yet. Because deep down, you already know the breakthrough isn't coming, it's here. Step into your destiny. The time is now chosen one. The waiting period is over. The years of questioning, doubting, and wondering if you were truly meant for more, it was all leading up to this moment. You are no longer in a season of seeking, you are in a season of receiving. You are no longer knocking on doors, you are walking through them. You've done the work. You've passed the tests. You've proven to the universe that you are ready. Now, everything that is meant for you will unfold in divine timing. The resources, the connections, the opportunities, they are already making their way to you. Not because you begged for them, not because you struggled for them, but because they have always belonged to you. You don't need to chase what is already yours. You don't need to force what is already aligned. You don't need to prove yourself to those who were never meant to see your worth. You are walking in your divine inheritance. So stand tall, move forward with confidence. Know that what's ahead of you is far greater than anything behind you. The doors that are opening now will not close. The blessings that are flowing now will not be blocked. Because what God has for you, no one can take away. You've already won. Now, step into your victory. Chosen one, this is the season where you finally see the fruits of your labor. The struggles, the betrayals, the silent battles you endured, they were never in vain. Every tear you shed, every moment of doubt, every night you spent wondering when your time would come, it was all shaping you for this very moment. You didn't just survive, you transformed. And now, you are stepping into a new reality, one where the pain of the past no longer holds you, where the opinions of others no longer define you, and where you finally see yourself as the powerful being you were always meant to be. The world may have counted you out, but God never did. What was once delayed is now accelerating for years. It felt like you were walking in circles, praying, working, believing, but nothing seemed to change. Doors remained closed, opportunities slipped away, and the people around you couldn't understand why someone as gifted as you wasn't flourishing. But what they didn't know was that your journey was never about speed, it was about alignment. You weren't being denied. You were being prepared. You weren't being overlooked. You were being hidden. You weren't losing. You were gaining wisdom, strength, and divine timing. And now, the wait is over. The momentum is shifting. Everything that was delayed is now being accelerated. The breakthroughs that once felt distant are now manifesting before your very eyes. It's not by chance. It's not luck. It's divine order. You were chosen for this. You were set apart for a reason. And the season of waiting, of struggling, of wondering if it would ever happen for you, it has officially ended. Why your energy is different now? Have you noticed how people are reacting to you differently? How your presence carries a weight, a power that wasn't there before? That's because you have stepped into your spiritual authority. When you align with your divine purpose, your very essence changes. You walk with more confidence, speak with more wisdom, move with more certainty. You no longer tolerate what drains you. You no longer entertain what distracts you. People can feel it. Some will be drawn to you, sensing that you are different, that you carry something sacred. Others will be intimidated, confused by how you seem to glow without effort. But none of that matters anymore, because you are no longer seeking validation from the world. You understand now, you were never meant to fit in. You were never meant to be understood by everyone. You were meant to lead, to inspire, to walk a path that only the chosen can walk. This is just the beginning. You might be tempted to think that this is the peak, that you've finally arrived. But let me tell you something. Chosen one, this is only the beginning. The success, the recognition, the abundance, it's not the end goal. It's simply a reflection of your inner transformation. The real victory is in the wisdom you've gained, The real treasure is in the resilience you've built. The real reward is knowing that you are finally, fully, unapologetically walking in your divine assignment. This is why nothing and no one can stop you now. Because this isn't about ego. It's about purpose. This isn't about proving yourself. It's about fulfilling the mission you were sent here for. You've already won. Chosen one. Now walk forward in power. Your story is just beginning. Chosen one. Take a deep breath and let this truth settle in. You've already won. Not because the world has recognized you. Not because every battle has disappeared. But because you have stepped into your divine power. For so long, you fought battles in silence, doubted your worth, and questioned if your efforts were even making a difference. But now, you see the proof. The shift is real. The transformation is undeniable. You are no longer who you used to be. And that is the greatest victory of all. The journey was never about them, it was about you. The betrayals, the rejections, the misunderstandings, they weren't meant to break you. They were meant to shape you. Everything you went through was orchestrated to bring you to this moment. To strip away the false narratives, the self-doubt, and the need for external validation. You no longer need approval. You no longer seek permission. You walk with certainty now. You move with divine wisdom. You stand in the truth of who you are. And because of that, no one can stop what is already yours. Step boldly into what's next. The world is waiting for the fully awakened version of you. No more playing small. No more second guessing. No more shrinking to fit into spaces that were never meant for you. You have everything you need. The time is now. Walk forward in faith. Step into your abundance. Embrace the power that was always within you. You've already won. Now go and claim what is yours. If this message spoke to you, let me know in the comments. Like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And make sure you're subscribed because this journey is just getting started. The need for approval is a cage, and chosen ones, you were never meant to live in a cage. From the moment you were born, the world tried to shape you into something you were never meant to be. It told you to fit in, to be liked, to gain acceptance from people who will never truly understand the depth of your calling. But here's the truth, you were not chosen to be accepted. You were chosen to stand out. Many of you feel the weight of constantly seeking validation, whether from family, friends, society, or even strangers. You dim your light, you shrink your presence, and you silence your voice just to avoid rejection. But what if I told you that seeking approval is the very thing keeping you from stepping into your divine power? The more you chase validation, the further you drift from the path God has set for you. Because when you seek approval from people, you hand them control over your destiny. But deep inside, you already know this, don't you? You feel it, the frustration, the exhaustion, the emptiness of constantly trying to prove yourself. You try to please others, only to feel unseen. You do what's expected, only to feel unfulfilled. And yet, something inside you whispers that there's more, that you were not meant to follow the crowd but to lead with purpose. Think about the great ones who came before you, those who carried divine missions. Did they ever fit in? No, they were misunderstood, rejected, cast aside by the very people they were sent to help. Moses had to walk alone. Joseph was betrayed by his own brothers. Jesus himself was despised and rejected by the world. Yet, none of them sought the approval of men. They walked boldly in their purpose, despite the opposition, because they understood one thing: their calling was not given to them by people, so it could never be taken away by people. And the same applies to you. You were chosen by a higher power. Your mission was assigned before you were even born. So why waste another moment trying to convince people who will never see what God has placed within you? Today, I'm here to tell you it's time to break free. It's time to stop waiting for the world to validate what God has already confirmed within you. The path ahead may be lonely, it may be misunderstood, but make no mistake, you were not called to be ordinary. You were called to be extraordinary. So let go of the fear, let go of the need for approval. Step boldly into the power that has always been yours. Because when you finally stop seeking validation, you will unlock the greatest truth of all: you were enough all along. From the moment you took your first breath, the world began shaping you before you even knew who you truly were. You were being taught how to behave, what to believe, and most dangerously, how to seek approval. It started at home, where love and acceptance often felt conditional. A smile, a nod of approval, or a word of encouragement only seemed to come when you did what was expected of you. If you colored inside the lines, followed the rules, and stayed within the boundaries that others set for you, you were rewarded. But if you strayed, if you questioned, if you expressed something different from the norm, you were met with silence, disapproval, or even punishment. This pattern repeated itself in school, where you were taught to obey rather than to think for yourself. You were taught to seek gold stars, good grades, and praise from teachers, not to embrace your individuality or question the system. You were programmed to believe that success meant pleasing authority figures, fitting in with the crowd, and blending into the mold that was already created for you. Your worth was measured by how well you conformed, not by how brightly your soul could shine. Then came society, an even greater force of conditioning. Everywhere you turned, you were bombarded with messages that reinforced the need for external validation. The media, social norms, cultural expectations, all of it designed to make you believe that happiness, success, and even love could only come if you were approved by others. That you needed to be liked, that you needed to be accepted, that your value was something to be earned, rather than something that was already within you. And for the chosen ones, this programming was even more intense, because deep down, you always knew you were different. You always felt a greater calling, a deeper wisdom, an inner knowing that didn't align with the world's shallow standards. But instead of embracing it, you were taught to suppress it, to hide your light, to tone yourself down just to fit in. You learned to silence your truth because every time you tried to express it, you faced resistance. You were told you were too much, too intense, too different. So you did what you were trained to do. You shrank yourself just to be accepted. But here's the truth. Seeking approval is a form of control. The world has designed a system that keeps people in line, that keeps them afraid to stand out, that keeps them from tapping into their true power. Because the moment you stop seeking approval, you become unstoppable. When you no longer need permission to be who you are. When you stop caring about what people think. When you release the fear of rejection, that is when you truly begin to step into your destiny. The greatest leaders, visionaries, and chosen ones throughout history never sought approval. They didn't wait for permission to be great. They didn't conform to what was expected. They broke free from it. They walked their path boldly, even if it meant walking alone. And now, you are being called to do the same. This is your wake-up call. It's time to break free from the programming. It's time to stop looking outward for validation and start looking inward for truth. The world doesn't define your worth. The opinions of others do not determine your destiny. You were chosen for a reason, and the only approval you ever needed was already given to you by the Creator. So let go of the need to be liked. Let go of the need to be understood. Let go of the fear of rejection. Because the moment you stop seeking approval, you reclaim your power, and that is when your true journey begins. From the moment you entered this world, the conditioning began. You were taught to follow the rules, to do what's expected, to make others happy. Society told you that your worth was measured by how well you fit in, how many people liked you, how much validation you could gather. And slowly, without even realizing it, you began to trade your authenticity for approval. It started in childhood. Maybe you were the one who was always different, the one who saw things others didn't. But instead of being celebrated for your uniqueness, you were told to be normal, to stop being so intense, to just go along with the crowd. And so, you learned to suppress your true self, to wear a mask, to play a role, to become what others expected of you. Then came school, where approval was tied to grades, popularity, and fitting into a system that was never designed for chosen ones. If you spoke up too much, you were told to be quiet. If you questioned things, you were labeled difficult. If you stood out, you were made to feel like an outsider. The world conditioned you to believe that in order to be loved, in order to be accepted, you had to conform. And for many, this pattern continued into adulthood, seeking approval from family, from friends, from bosses, from society. You became trapped in a cycle, constantly adjusting, constantly molding yourself into what others wanted, all while feeling the deep emptiness of not living as your true self. But here's the dangerous truth. The enemy uses this conditioning to keep chosen ones from stepping into their power. The more you seek approval, the further you drift from your divine purpose. The more you try to be accepted, the less you recognize your own worth. This world will always try to convince you that you are not enough, that you must do more, be more, prove more in order to be loved. But that is a lie, because real power, real freedom, comes when you finally realize you do not need their approval. You never did. You were chosen before the foundation of the world. Your mission was given to you by a higher authority, not by the opinions of others. And once you wake up to this truth, everything changes. So I ask you, how much longer will you keep waiting for permission to be who you were meant to be? The time has come to break free from the programming, to reclaim your identity, to stop looking outward for validation and start looking within. Because the moment you do, you will step into the power that has been waiting for you all along. There comes a moment in every chosen one's life when the weight of seeking approval becomes unbearable. You reach a crossroads where you must make a decision: continue shrinking yourself to fit the mold society has placed on you, or break free and step into your divine identity. And this decision is not an easy one. The need for validation is deeply ingrained. It has been programmed into you since birth. But when you finally awaken, when you finally see the truth, you realize something powerful. You were never meant to follow the crowd. You were meant to lead. This is where transformation begins. Because once you recognize the trap of seeking approval, you start to reclaim your power. You stop asking, "Will they accept me?" and start declaring, "I accept myself." You stop wondering, "Do they believe in me?" and start affirming, "God has already confirmed my purpose." You stop looking for permission to be great and realize you were born for greatness. But here's the truth that many are not ready for. When you stop seeking approval, the world will push back. The people who once praised you may suddenly turn against you. Friends may distance themselves. Family may not understand your path. And this is where many chosen ones hesitate, because walking in your power often means walking alone. But do not fear isolation. Every chosen one must go through the wilderness before stepping into their divine purpose. Look at the great ones throughout history. Moses had to leave Egypt. Joseph had to endure betrayal and imprisonment before reaching the throne. Even Jesus had to spend time alone in the wilderness before stepping fully into his mission. The separation isn't punishment, it's preparation. The wilderness is where you learn who you truly are. It is where you strip away the need for approval, the fear of rejection, the false identities you once carried. It is where you come face to face with your power and finally realize you never needed them to validate you. Your worth was decided before the foundation of the world. But here's the beauty of this journey. Once you break free, The right people will begin to find you. The ones who are meant to walk with you will recognize your light. They will not need you to shrink to make them comfortable. They will celebrate you as you rise, and those who cannot handle your elevation, they will fall away, and that is a blessing, because once you stop living for others and start living in your truth, you will experience a level of peace, power, and freedom that cannot be taken away. You will walk with confidence, knowing that your worth is not defined by human opinions, but by divine purpose. So, ask yourself, are you ready to let go? Are you ready to stop seeking permission to be who you were always meant to be? Because the time is now. Your destiny is waiting, and the only approval you ever needed was already given to you the moment you were chosen. Once you stop seeking approval, something incredible happens. You begin to operate in your true power. No longer bound by the expectations of others, no longer weighed down by the need to conform. You start to see the world differently. You realize that the limitations placed upon you were never real. They were only as powerful as the belief you gave them. And now, you are free. Free to walk in your calling. Free to embrace your gifts. Free to live the life you were destined for. But here's what most people won't tell you. Stepping into your true power requires courage. It requires a level of boldness that many will not understand. You will no longer be able to blend in. You will no longer be able to silence your voice just to make others comfortable. Your light will shine too brightly, and not everyone will be able to handle it. The world has conditioned people to seek validation, to measure their worth by likes, follows, and the approval of others. But as a chosen one, you were never meant to play by those rules. You were meant to rise above the noise, to stand firm in your truth, to lead by example. And that means detaching from the opinions of the crowd and aligning yourself fully with your divine assignment. When you stop seeking approval, you stop being controlled. No one can manipulate you with rejection. No one can hold you back with disapproval. No one can make you feel small, because you no longer give them the power to define you. Instead, you draw your strength from within, from your faith, from your purpose, from the undeniable truth that you were created for something greater. And the moment you embrace this truth, the universe responds. Doors that were once closed begin to open. The opportunities that once seemed impossible start to manifest. The right people, your true tribe, those who recognize your purpose, will be drawn to you. Because when you no longer seek approval, you attract alignment. But understand this, living in your true power will require sacrifice. You may have to leave behind relationships that no longer serve you. You may have to walk away from environments that stifle your growth. And that can be painful. But what is more painful? Living a life that is not yours. Wasting your potential trying to fit into spaces that were never meant for you. So I ask you now, are you willing to step into your power? Are you ready to embrace the path that was written for you before time began? Because the world does not need another person who is afraid to shine. The world needs you fully awake, fully empowered, fully walking in your purpose. This is your moment. The choice is yours. The time for seeking approval is over. The time for questioning your worth, doubting your path, and waiting for others to validate you has come to an end. You were not chosen to conform. You were chosen to lead. You were set apart before time began, given a unique calling, and equipped with everything you need to fulfill your purpose. The only thing left for you to do is step into it fully, unapologetically, and fearlessly. Understand this, the world will not always applaud your growth. Not everyone will celebrate your awakening. Some will misunderstand you. Some will resent you. Some will even try to pull you back into the version of yourself they were comfortable with. But you are not here to live for them. You are here to fulfill your divine assignment. You no longer need permission to be great. You no longer need validation to know your worth. You were created with purpose, crafted with intention, and set apart for something far greater than you can even imagine. Walk boldly in that truth. Stand firm in your power. Trust that everything you have endured was preparing you for this moment. And if you ever find yourself doubting, if you ever feel tempted to shrink back into the old patterns of seeking approval, remember who you are. Remember the fire that burns inside you. Remember that the only validation you ever needed was already given to you by the Creator Himself. This is your season of breakthrough. This is your moment to rise. No more waiting. No more hesitating. Step forward, chosen one, and embrace the destiny that was always meant for you.